One of my favorite genres to watch is psychological thrillers. I love it when series are able to take me through an emotional roller coaster.
Hey, what's going on?
They are actually one of the few genres of entertainment that are able to fully capture my attention and live forever in my memory bank due to their well-written plots, characters, and great overall storytelling. In addition to all of that, they also pique my intellectual interest with some of the philosophical and psychological theories that the characters may have or that the general overall plot may relay. So today, I thought it would be cool to share a list breaking down my top 10 psychological thriller anime series and movies without, giving too much away of the plot. So let's begin, shall we? Number 10, Death Parade. After death, in many religions and spiritual practices, it is believed that humans either go to heaven or hell. In some belief systems, some people are even offered an opportunity with a chance to be reborn again. But sometimes, some souls need special attention, and they arrive at the Quindecim, a bar only destined for people who die at the same time in the afterlife, where they are met by an arbitrator named Decim. Decim intimidates the recently deceased people to play a life-threatening game, so he can evaluate them and decide whether or not their souls will go to the void or be reincarnated. I included this on my list because it's quite unique compared to the other series, which you'll eventually see on this list. Death Parade is only 12 episodes long, and although most shows have plots that may extend a couple of episodes, this anime does not follow that guideline. Most of the episodes have their own storyline, more so. Number 9, Perfect Blue.
Perfect Blue was written and directed by the late Satoshi Kon. It's a psychological horror thriller movie where its plot revolves around the life of a former J-pop idol named Mima, who left the J-pop group Sham in hopes to have a successful acting career. After her departure from the group, Mima is able to get her foot into the acting scene on a crime soap opera and is in high hopes, thinking that everything will be well. However, Mima's life changes drastically as her acting career and management is becoming more and more demanding of her, and she also begins to deal with an obsessed fan who can't seem to accept her career change. This obsessed fan begins to impersonate her from her J-pop idol days. As the days go on, Mima begins to be unable to tell the difference between reality from fantasy. I'm not gonna lie, there were times throughout the movie where I didn't know if we were inside of Mima's head or if it was the reality of the current situation in the movie. It was hard differing the reality from fantasy for me as well. And I believe that Satoshi Kon did an excellent job with the themes of this movie. Perfect Blue touches on the themes of mental health disorders such as dissociative identity disorder, stalking/obsession, which you can somewhat sum it up to modern day Sam culture, and the dangers of being online. There have been references to this movie throughout pop culture since it has been released, which is really cool to see. I will say, if you haven't watched the movie and you decide that you do want to watch it, trigger warning, there are some scenes that depict gore, graphic displays of violence, and SA.
Number 8, Genkatsu.
If you were falsely imprisoned and if you were given a second chance at life, would you A, take revenge, or B, would you try to live a better life as if the people who falsely imprisoned you didn't exist? This is one of my favorite anime series of all time, from its beautiful storytelling to even its more beautiful, unique animation and art. Genkatsu is a futuristic version of the 19th century French novel Count of Monte Cristo. This anime series sticks to the main themes of the novel, which is basically love, betrayal, and revenge, as the Count is determined to exact vengeance on those who have wronged them. The series is told mainly from the perspective of Albert. The sum of the series is basically
Back in Blood Challenge. Yes, sir. Get it back in blood.
The main message of this series is how far are you willing to exact revenge? Will you go through with the plan, even if it costs you your humanity, your life, or your soul? The elements of surprise and mystery from this series left me on my toes and wanting to know what will happen next after every turn. In addition, it has a very beautiful, unique art style that incorporates the unmoving plaid technique, which is what the anime series Mononoke uses and the Cartoon Network show Chatter use. The series only has 24 episodes, and safe to say, I binged this series and completed it in only 2 to 3 days. If you enjoy watching revenge stories, I highly recommend for you to check this out because it is superb and definitely, personally, in my top 10 anime of all time. That's how much I love it.
Number 7. Paranoia Agent.
Breaking news! There have been reports around the city of a young boy nicknamed Lil Slugger that has been going around terrorizing the residents of Musashina City. Reports say that he's been flying around the city on his rollerblades and beating his victims down with a golden baseball bat. He's still at large. He seems impossible to catch as authorities have yet to book him. Well-known character designer Sakiko Sagi was the first of his many victims. Some civilians think that she made him up. Did she make it up and it's her doing? Or is this golden rollerblading devil boy real? Find that out as we do a first-person interview with her and the other collective victims tomorrow at 10 a.m. on...
What makes Paranoia Agent a great philosophical anime series is how the series portrays escapism through unique storytelling and unique animation. To sum it up, Paranoia Agent is a series that explores themes of mental health disorders such as dissociative delusional disorder, escapism, and possibly even psychosis. When the characters in the show come to feel like as if their backs are against the wall with their current reality or dilemma, Little Slugger offers them a means to escape or basically break free from their current reality when he hits them over the head with his baseball bat. Little Slugger's character design even changes throughout the series depending on the character who runs into him. Sometimes he's depicted as scarier, whereas other times he's shown as timid. And there was this even one time where he was shown as more violent. And his physical stature was even shown in a bigger / taller depiction. In addition to Little Slugger's overchanging appearance, the show does a great way of also incorporating different animation, character design, and overall different art styles throughout the series to assist us telling the stories of the citizens in Moshino City, Tokyo. If you're going to watch this series, I will warn you and say that, like Perfect Blue, some of the backstories of the characters are a bit disturbing, but nevertheless, this series is great, and I recommend that people watch it if they are into psychoanalysis thrillers. Number 6. Psycho-Pass.
Experience the rich nature, traditional culture, and contemporary art of Japan. Discover the many events, festivals, temples, theme parks, beaches, and outdoor activities that Japan has to offer. Whether you're passionate about art, a nature enthusiast, food, or simply looking to relax on a beach, Japan is full of destinations that could enrich your life. Did we mention that Japan now is extremely safe and that our government cares about your well-being? Japan now has a new law enforcement set in place called the Sybil system along with the state-of-the-art AI technology referred to as the Psycho-Pass. Our government believes the Psycho-Pass and the core values of the Sybil system will be the face of tackling crime in all nations set to come in the future. This technology is able to measure the soul of a person, their emotional state, their best characteristics, and their weaknesses. Our system is even able to provide you with what career is best for you based upon our AI technology that is able to see the true colors of your soul. If you're feeling down, we even have state-of-the-art mental facilities that will assist you with finding a resolution for whatever is bringing you trouble. The crime rate has also gone down by nearly 80% since the Sybil system has enforced law enforcement to use the Psycho-Pass in order to hunt down criminals before the crime even takes place. Visit Japan now.
Psycho-Pass is a thought-provoking psychological thriller series.
This show takes place in a dystopian 22nd century Japan that central focus is around a society that uses technology referred to as a psychopath that is able to instantly measure a person's propensity to violence and crime based upon their emotional and psyche state. This technology was created by the Chernobyl system that works alongside Japan's government and controls the law enforcement in Japan with an iron fist. Psychopaths is able to do much more in this show than just measure a person's possibility of committing a crime. As mentioned in the ad to travel to Japan, this technology is also able to determine one's place in society, career, strengths, potential mate, and their value to society. Kind of sounds basically like a mixture of the 1980s Big Brother and that one Tom Cruise movie. The only difference between Minority Report and Psychopaths is that the Chernobyl system isn't ran by Eleven's predecessor, Agneta, but instead it's ran by a group of like-minded individuals that rely on an elementary school behavior chart-like system in order to determine what a civilian's potential of committing a crime is. What's interesting about this system that if there are witnesses to a person committing a crime, everybody within the surrounding area that is witnessing the crime, their psychopath color can change due to the stress of them witnessing a crime. But law enforcement, they say civilians witnessing a crime or victims of a crime that survive are also threats to society, depending on what color card that they have. And if they have a particular bad color hue, guess what that means? Some people may say that this anime is a slow-burning series, but I think otherwise. In the first episode, we're shown exactly the themes of the show, the dynamics between the characters, and what's to come. If anything, I say this is an action jam-packed series. Although it's not as thought-provoking as other series on this list, it's still an enjoyable psychological thriller that I recommend people to watch. I only completed the first season just because I really could not get into the other seasons, but hey, if you do end up completing the series, please let me know in the comments and tell me what you think of it.
Number 5, Mononoke.
Mononoke is a supernatural psychological horror series that follows a mysterious medicine seller that travels across feudal Japan in search of malevolent spirits that are referred to as the Mononoke to exorcise and slay. In order for the medicine seller to draw his instrument of exorcism, he must find out the Mononoke's true form, its origin, and its motive behind being able to physically manifest. The Mononoke in this series are a type of Ayakashi and a natural vengeful spirit that is manifested from an alive or dead human soul that possesses strong negative thoughts relating to their previous actions that feel extreme anger, hatred, fear, sadness, and regret. Mononoke only has 12 episodes, but the series is divided into 5 different arcs. Each arc spans across 2 to 3 episodes, jam-packed with great storytelling, strong characters that make the series worth watching. In each arc, the medicine seller improvises theatrics of the mind in order to get to the source of the Mononoke's existence. The stories and origin of how the Mononoke are formed are quite disturbing to say the least, especially considering that these spirits result from human behavior and strong negative emotions. Nevertheless, Mononoke is an exceptional, unique body of work. It's one of one, and I have never seen anything quite like it. If you guys want to see a full review of this anime, check out this video about it.
Number 4, Death Note.
So, I noticed a trend in a lot of these series on this list, and a lot of them have the following themes incorporated in their plot: morality in regard to human life, injustice, in a sense, kinda, sorta. Death Note is no exception, as the series follows a high school student named Light who happens to stumble upon a death note for his own sadistic amusement. After reading the first of its rules, Light deems the first rule as ludicrous. However, Light caves and cries, actually dies. Light soon understands the terrifying godlike power that has fallen into his possession. Due to Light already being on top of his class, attending one of the most prestigious schools in Japan, and already receiving praise in regards to being an intellectual god, as well as his father already being involved in law enforcement, Light believes he has the right to become a judge, in a sense. Following his wicked sense of justice, Light develops a god-like complex, nicknaming himself Kira, the god of the new world, believing he must follow suit with cleansing the world of all evildoers. Ryuk, the original owner of the Death Note, joins to spectate the entertaining new world of Kira, allowing Light to wreak havoc in the land of the living, as long as it provides entertainment for him. Ryuk becomes more invested in Light's shenanigans after the world's famous detective L begins the interesting game of cat and mouse, attempting to hunt down Kira. I'm not gonna hold you guys. When I first started getting into anime and when I heard of Death Note, I held off on actually watching it for years because Ryuk was so scary looking to me. And to be honest, he still is! Bro looks like an ugly ass pug, to be honest.
You fucking nasty ass motherfucker, that's nasty, man!
I finally watched and finished this series in 2020 during quarantine, and it was well worth it. Like me, you shouldn't let your fears stop you, and you should watch the series if you haven't already. You will not be disappointed.
Number 3, Egro Proxy. The world has become largely uninhabitable over the course of time, and now that what remains of humanity exists inside large dome-like cities. When androids known as Auto-Rays begin committing crimes and displaying a semblance of free will, Riel Mayer begins investigating the cause, and this takes her on an adventure that encourages her to ask deep philosophical questions about herself, her companions, Vincent and Pino, as well as the world that they live in. After initially hearing that synopsis, you may be wondering, what the hell does this have to do with psychology or philosophy? Listen, I understand, because after a certain amount of episodes, I was like, what the hell is going on and what is the purpose of this show? But after watching a certain episode, I was like, oh, that's what's going on. And it made me so excited to finish watching the series. And I was just like, you know what? I need to talk about this because more people need to know about this. I have quite a few theories in mind that will hopefully make you guys understand why I put this so high compared to the other great series that are on this list, or even some of the series that I have left off this list entirely. Well, on the premise of the series being a psychological thriller anime series, Egro Proxy takes the cake as it explores philosophical and psychological theories, as the show's main plots carry the elements of Sigmund Freud's theory of psychoanalysis, Carl Jung's theory of the subconscious mind, aka the shadow, and the interrogation of the shadow, as well as religious references and Greek mythology references throughout the series. I'm going to try to do my best to sum it up all in a few sentences. So, Sigmund Freud's theory of psychoanalysis suggests that human behavior is influenced by unconscious memories, thoughts, and urges. Carl Jung's theory talks about the subconscious mind and refers it to as the shadow. And the shadow is composed of broken off personality aspects, or better yet, the denied aspects of one's true self to fit in with their environment or society as a whole. And if you do not integrate the shadow, your shadow, aka your subconscious, will continue to direct your life without you being aware of it. And you'll call it fate until you take a deeper look into yourself to see why you may react to something in a certain way, or you do something in a specific way. This can also be referred to as interrogation of the shadow, due to you becoming aware of the subconscious patterns within yourself. Egro Proxy only has 23 episodes and only 1 season. It's not a dragged out series, and due to the semi-short series, I can actually say that I was pleased with how things ended. Egro Proxy is truly one of a kind, and I recommend it to anybody who is interested in philosophical and psychological theories to watch it. Hell, even if you're not interested in all that mumbo jumbo, I still suggest for you to watch it because most likely you'll still probably enjoy it. I hope also my short analysis of the series makes it easier to understand. Happy watching! Coming in with one of the greatest anime series of all time. Number 2, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is one of the greatest anime series of all time due to its lovable characters, great storytelling, and great story pacing. I also love how the show incorporates different themes relating to philosophy, war, religion, and science and humanity so perfectly in its plot. Alrighty, so let's begin with a rundown of this series. So, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood follows the story of 2 talented young alchemists, brothers, Edward and Alphonse Eric. The brothers found out that they naturally have a talent to perform alchemy as young children, but Soon after finding out their niche, their mother unexpectedly passed away due to a village epidemic. The boys were driven to desperation due to the loss of their mother and absent father, so out of despair, the two young boys came to a sound decision that they would perform alchemy's biggest taboo, human transmutation, in hopes of bringing their mother back from the dead. Unfortunately for the two brothers, the resurrection transmutation failed, and the brothers paid a hefty price for their actions. Edward lost his legs, while Alphonse lost his entire body. Out of fear of losing yet another family member, Edward willingly sacrificed his right arm to perform a soul-binding transmutation to call his baby brother's soul back from the void. Edward was able to do it successfully, but he was only able to bind Alphonse's soul to a large suit of armor, due to Alphonse no longer having his physical body. 3 years later, Edward joins the State Military Alchemist Division due to his affinity and skill set with alchemy, with the hope of having easier access to finding the Philosopher's Stone with his little brother Alphonse by his side to restore their bodies back to the original states. In quest of the Philosopher's Stone, the brothers uncover that there is something much more sinister brewing within the country after finding out the truth behind the Philosopher's Stone. Edward and Alphonse are then faced repeatedly with conflict throughout the series, relating to these three questions. How far are you willing to go in search of the truth/knowledge? What price are you willing to pay in order to obtain the things you truly desire? And finally, what is the true value of human lives? Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is at least one of the anime series that you should definitely watch in this lifetime. If there are any anime series that you have been contemplating on, or if you haven't watched this series at all, or if you're just getting into anime, I definitely suggest for you to check this out. And you know what would make another great series? Monster. Number 1, Monster. The critically acclaimed series Monster is one of the best anime and manga series of all time. In addition to that, I think it's one of the best psychological thriller series of all time, not just in the anime realm. Monster is a well-written story that does an excellent job with exploring philosophical theories such as metaethics, nihilism, morality in regard to human life, the nature versus nurture theory, and so much more. Different from majority of all the series on this list, Monster does incorporate supernatural, folklore, or any sci-fi elements in this plot overall series. It's more so a quote-unquote realistic crime drama series that revolves around a doctor named Dr. Kenzu Tenma, an elite neurosurgeon that recently performed surgery on a young boy instead of the town's mayor. 9 years later, when Dr. Tenma saves the life of a criminal, his past comes back to haunt him, which causes him to embark on a journey to make amends for the havoc spread by the one life that he had saved. What makes Monster so hauntingly good is the well-written characters, its story pacing, and overall superb storytelling. Monster is also known for having hands down one of the best well-written protagonists and antagonists of all time. Monster has 74 episodes in total. Some may say, oh, that's too long for me. But in my eyes, it's worth it. It stayed true to the manga and has no filler. Each episode will want you yearning more and more. Due to the series being a bit slow-paced, it also gave room for the plot and characters space to breathe and develop with each episode. This provided the series to build up a rather intense climax and overall made the ending a bit more satisfying. I will say this though, due to it being a philosophical thriller series and more so one of the more realistic series, this anime honestly has the most disturbing character background stories. Some of the stories made me a bit teary-eyed, angry, and also sick to my stomach, especially when it related to some of the children in this series. So yeah, that's a bit of a trigger warning. Alrighty, so that concludes my personal top 10 psychological thriller anime series. If there's something that you guys don't like about my list, or if you would switch the order, or if you would even switch out an anime that's on my list with another list, please feel free to leave a comment, or better yet, hit me up on Twitter at Alcia's Point of View. I would like to also give a shout out to some other great psychological thriller anime series that I honestly forgot to put on this list when I was making the list. So the first one that I would like to give a shout out to is just Parasite the Maximum. Then we have Serial Experiments Lane. And lastly, I have Neon Genesis Evangelion. They're all great series that I recommend watching. And I want to say thank you guys for watching today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. And happy holidays! Hey, my name is Alcia. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. This is what I'm currently watching. If you have any recommendations on any shows, movies, books, anime, anything, please recommend it to me in my comments or hit me up on Twitter. Hey, you might just see me react to it next.